Hi, everybody, and welcome. Hope you are having a good day and evening whenever you're watching this. This is going to be the reading for the full moon in Virgo. We'll talk a bit about it just in a second here. Um, but yeah, we're also at this very important, kind of being called the most important shift of this year. So, um, and that's kind of going hand in hand because um, Saturn is also moving into Pisces. So when we start to talk about what, I'm just going to go through my list of what this moon is kind of about. Um, just they kind of end up tying hand in hand. Um, Saturn is definitely, you know, about structure and plans, uh, which is kind of funny because Virgo, so the full moon, is also very much about not so much planning, but they like they like structure, um, and they and cleanliness and basically organization. So yeah, so this full moon in Virgo, it's definitely kind of pointing us towards um, it's a spring cleaning of sorts. So this is kind of like this time where we can actually really start to release all these like loose ends we've been hanging on to, or it's about decluttering our life, and all of that kind of thing. So uh, and then it really does come into the planning. So looking ahead, it's really talking about um, it's interesting because it's the one thing that really stood out for me that I read was balancing spirituality and practicality. So those are very, very Virgo traits and also Saturn traits, right? So spiritual, and with it moving into Pisces, with Saturn moving into Pisces, it's focusing, like shining the light on our spirituality. So yeah, it's kind of about this moon. If you're looking to do some journal work or just some focused intentions, it's about really coming into creating a plan, a spiritual plan. Um, the other thing that'll help us with this is that we're going to be seeing um, more spiritual awakenings, more sort of remove removal of blocks that have been keeping us from being in the flow of things. So teaching us and having us learn about keeping balance between structure and flow and that kind of thing. So um, yeah, lots of breakthroughs, deepening of our awareness. It is an ending and a completion, but then that always leads to a new, they're calling this a new karmic cycle, right? So, and we're heading into this equinox energy too, right? So, lots of spring cleaning, just really focusing on those things that are, those finally kicking some of those habits or things that are just not serving us anymore. So it is developing a spiritual plan, but we're here in this physical body. So it's also developing a physical plan of, we've been talking about this for weeks now of self care and how do we get, how do we be our optimal spiritual self? Is that we also have to be our optimal physical and mental and emotional self. So it's really, I think, shining the light on those areas that, things, and this is not even just like bad habits like food and drugs and alcohol. Um, it's everything on the emotional and spiritual side too, about like, our belief in ourselves and how we speak to ourselves. That's as bad a habit as any, right? That one can be really detrimental to us, like when we're not being kind to ourselves in our thought and yeah, it really holds us back. So I did a meditation. It is specifically geared towards the moon. Um, so definitely stick around for that. afterwards, and I can guarantee it'll help kind of assist you in a plan moving forward. So at least getting the thought uh, present in our minds about what we could do, and planning. It's a lot about planning and making a structure for ourselves as we go through these spiritual awakenings, right? So there is also, I just want to mention, because Virgo sometimes also does have to do with health and alternative medicine. So it's starting to investigate those pieces for yourself too, about where you can improve your life by getting help in those areas. So taking a look at that kind of stuff too. Yeah. The only thing I did want, there is like a tiny caution, uh, just because of the way that this moon falls. Um, it is, my understanding is it's a super moon. So the intensity is going to be up there, but it's also, it's going to last like 4 to 8 days past the actual moon coming in. So just be aware that we're in these like cycles of of big, huge, transformative energies, and it is a lot. Um, the caution I got on this moon was that what you might find is that you're having trouble making a decision or a plan because there's still some fogginess, um, and uncertainty about where we put our energy, like what should we be looking for or doing. So if that exists, just, I would say start to, the plan doesn't have to be written out tonight, but you could like do a few points and then start to move over the next 4 to 8 days, as the fogginess of this moon lifts, and things will be like more uh, clear. And also, it's interesting too, because with this, like I said, this is a huge, these two happening at the same night. Um, it also says like that not just the removing of like obstacles that have kept us out of the flow, but like major breakthroughs as well with this Saturn in Pisces. So yeah, big changes. it's and we just have to, our best thing to do, in my opinion, is just be prepared for it. And how we do that is, again, lots of meditation, lots of journaling, and doing the work, right? Like, not just letting it, whatever comes. Like, we want to have a tiny bit of like planning, right? Or structure, so that we're manifesting what we're asking for, rather than just operating on, cruise control and whatever comes. Anyway, okay, let's take a look at what the cards are saying for this moon. And I'm gonna we're reading for the moon, but I also just, we know that Saturn moving into Pisces is really important too. So it will influence this reading. So it'll be part of it. So what does it all mean? What does today mean overall? Haha. So we got the Wheel of Fortune. There are an infinite number of possibilities in my life. Okay. And the Wheel of Fortune too is always just like, this is, life. We spin the wheel and we don't necessarily know what we're gonna get. Um, it there's all kinds of things on the wheel. Sometimes they're prizes and sometimes they're surprises. But just knowing we have all the, resources and strength to deal with those. So um, this card, I love the way they put it, because it's like, it's the infinite number of possibilities. It's possibilities. It's a positive thing. It's not just like choices, is the word. It's possibilities. There's a million uh, good things coming your way, which is great. We do have to make decisions on that stuff, though. Like I said, we can't just sort of idly sit by. And I mean, you can, but you take whatever you get. And sometimes it's not always, it's not always like comfortable or what we wanted, but that's it. So I'm reading the portal cards with every reading, just because I just feel like we're just in one continuous mass portal at this point. So we also got the halls of a mentee initiation, secrets revealed, treasures uncovered, and initiations. Yeah, this is just this continuing theme of right now. Like I said, I don't even remember if it was just Holding Space Sunday or if it was in the weekly read, but they kind of tied into each other anyway. Um, we're, the truth of everything is part of this awakening process. So more things are going to be revealed over the next few weeks. And I love this part, the treasures uncovered. It's like there's gold out there for us. We're gold, right? We're in this alchemical process, turning ourselves from into gold, right? Into light. So um it is coming. And I think that the other important part of that card is initiation. So everything that as these truths are revealed, they are initiating us into this process of ascension. So we have to uncover all this stuff, um, and understand the true workings of it all. And that is part of the process. So they're not like separate. They are really one and the same. And like I said, a lot of the things that are happening, some of the truths as they come out, um, they might be shocking and surprising and a little hard to deal with. Um, but just know that every time one comes out, however it affects you, um, it's going to affect someone on a much bigger scale, because we're opening their eyes to so much information. Um, and that's why it has always happened a little bit slowly because, thank goodness it's happened in stages and things for people because I think if that band-aid or that blindfold had just been torn off, it would have been like too much for even people that had started the process, right? Or and have some inklings of things about how this world really works. So it's nice to have it piece by piece. Although sometimes most of us that have been doing this for a while are like, we're just really impatient because we really just want to see this come uh, to its full cycle. But we don't want to rush it either, right? We want to savor each moment and each change. All right, so for the moon, we always do the same 3 sets of cards. This is the Moonology deck. We're going to do 3 cards from each. And we're just kind of asking what this moon is all about and also uh, what this Saturn going into Pisces kind of energy. So, this exact time and day, what it's all about. Ooh, we got 4. Okay. Well, we just take it as we get it. Oh my God, that is so funny. I'm gonna read the 4th card first because we actually this happened to me last moon, I think, too, when I did the reading. I actually got the card for it, which is full moon in Pisces, balance, spirituality, and practicality. So hey, I was onto something when I took all the notes for this. Yeah, awesome. That's, I think, what we'll probably have to call the video is balance, spirituality, and practicality. Um, let's talk a little bit about what that means. It's like right now, yeah, we're coming into all these new concepts and ideas through our spirituality. And so it's part of making that plan. How are you going to practically implement these new things you're learning in your everyday life? Um, yeah, it's just coming to mind. It's like, when you do go into a religious order of any kind, it doesn't matter which one it is. Um, like when you give yourself over completely to it, priest, monk, whatever that is, um, you're 24/7 immersed in that spirituality. Um, but, in the modern world, we don't have time for that, but we can certainly be that dedicated. And it really does come down to a practical plan. So this is about making a practical plan of how you can be in spirit every day. So for some, that might be meditation, at least 5 minutes a day. For others, it might just mean you go out in nature and you walk for half an hour, whatever, whatever is yours. And then it could even just mean journaling for 10, 15 minutes. Um, yeah, or just doing prayers at night. So it's just coming up with, it's the plan that works for you. Like practicality is, how is it going to fit into your life and work for you, right? You're not trying to like say like, oh my God, I got to sit there for an hour every day. Like it's, I got to do this. It's like not putting that much pressure on yourself. It's like, it has to work for you, because otherwise it's like any routine or um, any health or medicine thing that we do. If it's not easy, we stop doing it, we give up. So make sure you're really coming up with a good plan that works for you. That's, I think, the overall theme of this moon for sure. Then we also got believe in the impossible. Yeah, and it's a blue moon. It's so pretty. I love this card. So yeah, it kind of goes back to the first card with the Wheel of Fortune, is that there are so many possibilities coming our way. And we have the power and the magic to create our own life, right? We've went over that in Holding Space Sunday. So it's really believing that. And it's like when we're dreaming up things, don't um don't block yourself or bar yourself. It's like dream like big, and dream like, yeah, dream the impossible, right? To dream the impossible dream. What's that from? It's a play. Don Quixote, I think it is. Anyway, dream the impossible dream. Make it big. Make it outlandish. Like no holds barred. Like so, it's really like I can see this moon is definitely pointing us all to like pen to paper. I don't know about you, but when I come up with a plan, I like to like, have my list. So kind of that seems that that's what we're supposed to start doing. We also got, show the world the real you. Yeah, so this is part of the thing too, is I've been doing all this work on the chakras um and getting a class ready. It's almost ready, I promise. But really getting into throat chakra and third eye, and it's as this intuition comes in, and we're discerning what works for us and what is like resonates with us. But we're really starting to get the push to start vocalizing that, right? So being really out there about, this is what I believe, this is who I am. So it's that authenticity piece. It's right. Are we being authentic, uh, our authentic self? And that is being asked to, step forward at this time and really like come into our own. Like that's how we become true spiritual beings, is that we're able to be who we really are with no holds barred and no um, doubt in our mind, right? From even if others have doubt, it's like we don't take that on because we know who we are. Anyway, we also got a win-win outcome is forecast. So I like this too because it's in Libra, but it's the balance scales. And it's interesting because what did I say the overall theme is? Balance, spirituality, and practicality. So just know that like doing this little bit of work, totally helpful. Things are coming into balance. So they might feel a little wonky and out of sorts right now, but things are coming into balance. Don't fret. Yay. All right, we're going to do 3 cards of the Hidden Realms. I just always like this. Well, it's got the moon in it, but also I love it because it's like, I like to use it. I call it my darker energy. It's not darker energy. It's just mystery energy, which is always, the moons are always mysterious for some people. So I love using this deck for that. So, whoop, whoop, they're jumping. They have lots to say. Let's get one more here. Okay. Okay. So where am I going first? Okay. First one is the Fire Prince, which is optimism and aggression. Now, I never take this card as like aggression towards another or yourself. I think this is just like this is the card about stoking the fire, right? Starting to wield that kind of magic where we put things into motion, right? So it's not just about dreaming them, it's that we start to do like fire it up and take action. So um and optimism, like yeah, staying positive. Yeah, there's lots of things coming our way in terms of opportunities. So it's like it's just asking us to like light the fire, get going this time. Don't just plan out your thing and then throw it aside. It's time to start doing this stuff. So we also got the Lady of the Gift, generosity, receiving. Oh, I always forget there is a negative aspect to the last word. It's not always super negative. This one's withholding. Um, but I think what we're being asked to do with this moon is it's not about withholding. It's interesting because the part I didn't read off my notes, which I'm looking at now because of that card. So generosity and receiving, but I think also giving because again, and we talked about this. Um, whatever, I'm losing track of all the different reads, but it did come up about being, you know, in service, right? It's time for us to give and receive equally, and not withhold this as we come into this new energy. And it's, we need to start sharing and helping others out. So once we've got ourselves, again, in a good place, um, mentally, physically, spiritually, then it's again fire that's being stoked in us is to, go and help our brothers and sisters come through this time as well, right? So being in service. And the big thing, honestly, is just be kind. Just be kind. Do not, please do not, you know, we got to stop that division stuff. We've had to do it for a while. We keep slipping back into it a lot, and it's so detrimental, not just to our evolution, but other people's. And so, and again, it's just feeding and fanning the flames of lower energy, and we don't want to do that anymore. So be kind, be in service, help others out, hold their hand, give them a hug. And then we also got the Swan Queen, transformation, intuition, and patience. Boy, that describes like the last few months. So again, just that reminder, we are in a process. We are transforming. It isn't always the most easy process, but just being patient and knowing, again, everything is working out as it should. We just need to like do our part and not block it. And how we block it is honestly by not doing our work. So keep it up, you guys. All right. And then we've got the Moonology manifestation cards, which we always do for the moons. So I'm going to do 3 of these. These usually tend to be more action cards, things we should be looking at or doing. Yeah, honestly, it's pretty much this whole exactly what we've been talking about in other reads. It seems to be, it seems to just be when the theme is reoccurring, you know that we're onto something, right? Okay, so the first card we got is breathe through the tension. So yeah, we're still in the thick of this. We know that. And it's the outside world is still kicking it up. Um, and we're just rolling with it and going with the flow, and we, sort it out as we go. But when it gets too much, make sure you're doing breath work, meditation, yoga, something. And when it does get too much, just hit the pause button on whatever you're doing and come back to yourself, do some breathing. Um, yeah, just change that energy up. Don't keep going to get things done and then end up in a panic, right? We need to have our senses completely aware and awake, right? Um, so we need to cut down on any of the tension that might be like uh, forcing us to to not pay attention. It's kind of funny. Yeah. And I know, like the other night, I woke up like 4 o'clock in the morning and I was in a full on panic attack. And I don't know if it's because of what I was dreaming or just that the energy was shifting so much outside. I had to like take rescue remedy, which honestly, I love that stuff. Within a half hour, it's awesome. So I was back to sleep within a half hour and not so. Anyway, breathe, 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 breathe. We also got step up and lead. So yeah, this is kind of what I'm talking about is like we've been doing the work, again, working on our different chakras and opening heart center and getting ourselves in a good place. But as soon as we're there and we recognize that, um, it's also because every event that's happening out there is waking other people up. So it's not going to be too long before they're knocking on your door and asking for help because you've done some of the work, people will be able to see that, right? And they'll be like, "Oh, he, they could help me." So just be aware, and it's asking us now to like take what we've learned and and start to help people already. We're at that point. Take again, I said, be kind, take their hand, give them a hug, let them know it's going to be okay. Um, and then we also got the interesting, this is what it is, be humble as well. So it's like, again, a lot of the times you know, when we head into leadership, sometimes that can change into ego trip. And that person, you've seen it happen a million times with religious figures and all kinds of stuff, right? They're like got this really good new age plan and they're going really good. And then all of a sudden they become this egotistical maniac. And, we end up with cult situations and things like that, right? So it's like stepping up and leading, but not, I'm not the boss, right? The universe is the boss, and I'm just channeling the information through. Be humble and be kind, and just, this is the human that we're supposed to be. Um, I think, again, the key part of this card, though, is, the meditation and like the light coming in. So just really, you know, doing that work of keeping in the highest, again, the highest vibration you can, um, and maintaining that for as long as you can. Yeah. So that's it for the moon. Hope you'll stick around for the meditation. I think it's really good and it will really assist with, if you're, for sure, if you're looking for something to do tonight as part of your moon ritual. But it does focus on the things that we just talked about. Yeah. So balancing spirituality and practicality. That is our goal. Um, it's interesting because I feel like sometimes I can hear people going, "How do I do that?" And that's interesting. It's like that's a good journal exercise. Is sitting down and defining those two words first. Practicality. What is that? Like how does that fit into my life? And spirituality. What is that to me? And then how can I take those things I've listed and practically apply them in my life? And again, like I said, for some of us, it's like, okay, I can do meditation for 5 minutes a day. I got that. Um, or just like, or it might be, you might be the person that goes, I need to be in service, like a whole lot more. And so maybe next week you start volunteering or, doing random acts of kindness. It's, the world's our oyster, right? The beginning card, the Wheel of Fortune. We have an infinite number of possibilities ahead of us. So, and again, dream big. Like make the impossible, it said. Dream the impossible into reality. It's and believe in the impossible. That's what it is. So Yeah, dream big, guys. We've got nothing to lose. We're heading into, like I said, this kind of is the end and completion, which also means we're heading into this new karmic cycle. So it's like, well, what again? We're faced with that task of what do we want to see in the world? What do we want? You know, how do we want this to look? We are the co-creators of this whole next experience. And that's our job to do, and we came to do that. So yeah, and with those fire cards in there, it's like, okay, it's time. It's time to step up. It's time to lead. It's time to put these into action and practical ways. Putting our spiritual uh, goals into practical ways in this current life. That's what this moon is all about. All right, I'm going to get into the meditation now. So I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Virgo, and we'll see you on Sunday for Holding Space Sunday, where we're definitely having lots of divine feminine energy approaching and coming in for that date. So we will be doing a lot of work around the goddesses and the feminine, divine feminine. Take care of yourselves. Have a really good night, and I love you. Beginning as we always do, finding yourself in a comfortable position, breathing slowly, closing your eyes, and then breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth 3 times. Envision yourself out in the woods. Breathe in the aromatic forest scent, fresh, earthy, alive. Above the trees, the sky is alight with millions of faint stars. Walking down a small dirt path through the trees, we come upon a large, beautiful lake. At the edge, there is a dock, which we take a seat on and dip our feet in the cool and soothing water. Beside us is a basket with a large flannel blanket. We wrap ourselves within it, feeling cozy and comforted. Breathe and rest. Out across the lake on the horizon, the moon begins her travel across the dark night sky. As she rises, her brightness and size grow ever more until she encompasses most of the horizon. The moon is so large you can clearly see all the craters and patterns upon the surface. The sheer brilliance and size of this moon is almost beyond belief. Bask in her light. Feel your connection to her beauty, passion, and wisdom as it shines down upon you. Breathe and bask. As at all full moons, we receive the opportunity to let things go, to release all that no longer serves us. This full moon is in Virgo, and this sign loves a clean house and organization. It is the perfect time to cleanse, declutter, and release all no longer serving you. A thorough spring cleaning. Not just physically, but also on the mental and spiritual planes. It is a good time to finally kick poor habits, addictions, or anything depleting your time and your energy. Virgo is also associated with health, so it asks us to create and implement a new health plan. With Saturn moving into Pisces, it also invites us to create our new spiritual plan. It is time to balance spirituality with practicality. Breathe and integrate the teachings from this moon. Beside us on the dock, the basket remains. We notice now that it is filled with flower petals. Each petal represents those things that are no longer serving you. Breathe and make mental notes of what needs to be let go of. Now say aloud or to yourself, as I synchronize with the energy of this full moon, I willingly let go of what no longer serves me. Breathe and release. Feel the moon upon you as she beams down on you, smiling at your willingness to make positive changes. Begin now to one by one place the petals into the water and lovingly watch as they gently float away. See the ripples they produce and keep repeating to yourself, I release, I release, I release. I release all that which is no longer in alignment with my spiritual growth and is not for the greater good of my soul. Breathe and let go. See the water now with all the floating petals. These represent all the hardships, failures, struggles, and disappointments. All the ripples now guiding you, strengthening you, and preparing you for the magnificence that you are now emanating. Your energy glows and radiates just like this beautiful full moon before you. Breathe and shine. Turning your attention one last time up to the moon, take a deep breath. Bathe in the light and this moment of silence. Offer a prayer of thanks for all your blessings. Now set your intentions for what your heart desires. Again, beside you in the basket is the last item. It is a small quartz crystal. Hold the stone in your hands and hold your hands tightly into your heart center. Set your intentions and send the energy of those desires to be held within this crystal, which you can return to and its energy at any time. Whether you are putting it in as joy, love, peace, unity, or healing, be sure to state them aloud. Declare them. Feel them manifesting into existence. Breathe and repeat this silently to yourself. All that I am is love. All is truly well in my world. I create only good in my life. I am open to receiving the abundance that is all around me now. Breathe and pause here to again say another prayer of gratitude and thanks. Know that your higher self, your angels, your guides, and all of the loving energies meet up with Grandmother Moon, and they hold and comfort you. They will guide you, lead you, and they love you for everything that you are. Breathe and rest. Just taking these few moments to really enjoy the silence. And then slowly returning your awareness to your heart center. Feeling that we just remain in love, held and safe and secure and at peace. And taking in one nice big deep breath all the way to your toes, and then exhaling through the mouth, letting it all up and out. And then slowly returning awareness to the space that you're in. Making sure your feet are on the ground, or that you feel that you are grounded and connected back to the earth. And again, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth 3 times. And then giving one more prayer of gratitude and thanks for all that is to come and all that we already have. Resonating that peace and the love throughout heart center, throughout all of our being. And then taking in again one final nice big deep breath in through the nose, all the way down to your toes, and then out through the mouth. Placing a smile upon your face. In gratitude and in love, you may open your eyes.